What's the deal, my people? You know this is Don Tony Teflon, the lady Elamar, and this is the sexiest podcast in the world, and we are talking Lovecraft Country, episode 9. Elamar, as always, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Tony? How is your day going today?
It's going great. Let's put this in. We'll start this off like this. We'll wait for people to get in, then we'll get into
Mhm.
Lovecraft mode. You look beautiful as ever. We have a bunch
Thank
of
you.
people who are here rocking with us. Let's say what up to the people that are here real quick. My Infinity 123. What up to you? Val 287. What's up, girl? Kiki, owner of the Thug Bug herself. What's going on? See, I can't say the name. Cam Breland. How are you? Who else do we have? Laya loves you, and we love you too, without a sound, without a doubt. Oh, CJ McLean. Tony, you're looking nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. Susan Little is up in here rocking with us. That's it. John Haymaker, as always, is in here rocking with us. We got a bunch of people in here
Mhm.
rocking with us. And we are, Elamar, it is very bitter sweet. Let's put
Yeah.
this the way it's supposed to be because we're talking Lovecraft now.
Yeah.
Booyaka. Let's get it popping. Now, it's very bittersweet because, it's the ninth. This is the 9th episode. And,
It is.
just when we really got everything else going on. Oh, let's say what up to George rocking from Facebook. If you cannot get to YouTube, you can always go on Facebook, Teflon TV. Make sure you subscribe to that. And you can always catch it there too, in case you don't have access to YouTube. So what up? Hola to you, Jorge. Hola to you, Mr. Gonzalez, and everything else. Thank you for joining us from Facebook. And
It's so nice to see everybody. It's so many. There were so many new names, new avatars, and now they're not new anymore. They're here to stay. There are new friends. So, again, huge welcome to everybody who's back.
no doubt. And we got such a great community that we built
Mm-hmm.
during this season. It was a slow burn, and then it seems like everyone started catching up. And I think that next season is just going to be even bigger. It's going to
Yep.
be even bigger. So again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you click the bell and you hit all notifications so you can get all alerts. Because even when this series ends, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't end for us. We will still be doing live streams, trying to do predictions about season 2. We're going to go do a whole show review. We're going to have a bunch of people on. Maybe some of y'all from the chat, if you want to
Mm-hmm.
join, you can get on too with us. We're going to talk about the whole season. We're going to talk about each individual character. We're going to break it down. Trust me, I know how to stretch stuff.
It's not gonna end like that. It's gonna be sad to see those 2 last episodes, but after that, like Tony said,
Oh,
lot more fun.
we have good news. CJ says season 2 has been announced.
Nice.
So what is that? That is good. That is great. It has been confirmed. So yes, so we definitely, as it should be. You know what I mean? So thank you for that relay, CJ. We truly appreciate that. And so this is the pregame show. We're gonna do another pregame show until the end of the
Mm-hmm.
season. And the next year we're gonna do it for every episode. And then,
Yes.
as always, we're doing the after show. So as soon as it's over, we're giving our immediate reaction to the episode and a little quick breakdown, hour long or so like that when it's all said and done. So make sure you come back when that's all said and done. All right. So we are talking. We have we're going to talk about everything that we think that possibly could have to happen in here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, as always, and people know the Thug Mug is in hand.
And I have, I guess, a little something here too.
There it is. There it is.
Nice and cool.
So we are here. Hope y'all drinking with us.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like to drink alone.
No,
Don't make us look like alcohol.
no,
All right.
no, not fun like that.
No, not at all. That's what it is. Let's go through what we think. A couple of characters in here, and we want y'all input in the chat as well of what's going to happen, what we think is going to happen this episode, and what we've seen leading up to this episode, and everything else like that. All right, so let's just start with Letty. We'll do a little quick breakdown of
Mm-hmm.
what last happened to Letty, and then see where it's going to go for Letty. And I think she's a hard character to see because I think that she's one of these characters that's just you're going to see a lot through her eyes, like Tick. It's hard to predict exactly what's going on and everything else like that. So Letty last episode. Basically, her big thing that happened was where she's got that mark of Cain.
Yep.
Right. So everything has to come into play. Everyone's given something for a reason. So we know two things about Letty. We know she's pregnant and we know she's got the mark of Cain. And with this mark of Cain, she is invulnerable, right? She has like a mini force field around her. Nothing could touch her. We've seen the bullets that were like, hitting the force field and just dropping off. And, so we have that going on. How did you like what we seen last week from Letty first? And then we'll go into this week.
I wondered when she got that spell, if that was the spell just for her or for her baby too, if her baby is affected in any way, because the spell of protection, it's I guess it was specific. I don't know if Christina knows about the baby, if she for some reason has any powers to know what's going on inside Letty, and if so, if there's any are you grandfathered in while you get the spell on you, and then if you have a baby, if you're pregnant at that time, does it affect the baby in a good way or in a bad way? So, and it's very curious to see that a couple episodes before, when her belly was kind of on fire, scary. But like you said, I think you mentioned it, that she wasn't afraid, or did she mention that she wasn't afraid while that was happening? So I'm very, very curious about it.
All right. So when dealing with Christina and the baby, does she know if she's pregnant or not? I think that she does, because she says specifically, she says, she goes, she says, can you please give this spell to Tick? And she's like, no, you're going to need it. Right? Specifically, she said that you're going to need it. So why would she think that she's going to need it unless she knows maybe some events that happen in the future? She must know something. Why all of a sudden is she just saying, "Oh, you need it"? Was she talking about what was going to happen at her house later that day? Did she know about that? Did she know that she was going to the house was going to get shot up? You know what I mean? But wait a second. So CJ is clarifying. He's saying he didn't know if season 2 was announced. He was asking a question if it was announced.
Okay.
So we still don't know. We don't know like that.
Yeah.
About season 2, but we'll get into all that. So I think either she knew what was going to happen, like maybe she had some, maybe that rock, because that has to come back into play. We know that Ruby put the rock inside that man's office, right?
Yep.
Inside while they in the office that we seen D at, right?
Yes.
So maybe that rock gives her the ability to see what's going on in that room somehow. And maybe that's how she knew that the house was going to get shot up or something bad was going to happen. And that's why she gave her the protection spell, and she knew that she was going to need it. Could be that. I think that's plausible. What do you think?
So for them, they can only do one spell, right? I mean, they're allowed one spell, I guess, or
Meaning what?
The person, Christina, she can only have one spell, or let's say Tick can only have one spell. They're not allowed more than one spell, right?
Like cast on them?
Yes.
I think it's like a protection type situation. I think that it's one thing that we've seen so far.
Because I remember her saying something that I don't know if it takes them a lifetime to learn how to cast a spell, but for some reason I thought that they only they only get one spell, because if they can get more, why not get more? Like, why can't she be invulnerable? Well, her father had the spell of to be invulnerable, and then she wants to have the spell of what is it? What was it? Living forever? Immortal. There we go. But then she can cast other spells. So why? I'm just wondering, why can she? Why can't they have more of those spells? And then if Letty will need it, is it only tied to that bloodline? I guess it is. Why can Letty, cast
so I
the
think that when it comes down to spell casting, I think that she can cast more, because when we seen Lancaster cast a spell on D, I don't think that's the only spell he knows. I think that was the spell there. And then he says before he attacks him, he goes, wait a second, I don't know. We don't know how much magic they know. and that's right. And so
Mm-hmm.
he was concerned about even going and attacking them because he didn't know how much. So that means they could know.
Right.
He's figuring that they can know a lot of magic, maybe more, and that would be more than one
Mm-hmm.
spell, I would think. So I think you can learn multiple spells. It just takes
Yeah.
time to learn them, and we seen in
Yeah.
this episode the last thing, especially dealing with Letty because she was there, and Tick. It wasn't Tick that cast the spell; it was Montrose that said the
Mm-hmm.
words.
Right.
So he was able to
Oh,
cast.
kind of.
He's the one who
Yeah.
made the Black Shagos. I would think, right?
Yeah.
So I think it has
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
going. So I think that
Yeah.
I think somehow if you learn how to cast a spell and you have the right stuff to do it, you have the right things to cast a spell. Purpose, a
Mm-hmm.
body, and blood. I think you can do it with that.
Hmm. And there has been a lot of talk about, or at least before in other channels, um, that Christina kind of seems out of time. I mean, not out of time as in she's running out of time, but she's kind of in a way maybe from a different time period. And I just wonder if it has anything to do with that. I mean, we know that Tick visited the future, but for the reasons, not for the reasons, but because of actually getting what Christina was kind of in a way after some of that knowledge too. I wonder, like you said, if she actually has knowledge of the future, but again, how did she get it? Yeah, and very curious to see that rock and what happened to that person. I mean, that person might have been the body, right? I mean, that was the body. Maybe that somebody needed to make magic. That body in a closet. Maybe that was it.
It
They had
could
an
be.
intent. Yeah. So I wonder what happened to it. I mean, we didn't hear any more. I didn't think anymore. I didn't hear any more sounds, but Dee smelled death there. So I wonder if she
Mhm.
sensed the energy or she actually smelled, a rotting body.
Yeah, it's something in Monster Crown says I think Tick spell and Montrose worked, hence the monster coming to say, yeah, the spell works without
Mm-hmm.
a doubt, but it wasn't Tick that casted it. Montrose said the
Yep.
word. So Montrose is the one who casted the spell. It was Tick's blood, and Tick it stood inside of the circle, and I think that was the body. And I think it's the same thing that we see when we see D. The guy put the same markings on the floor that Tick had around him, right? So the same markings down there, and the same one that Christina drew in when she was inside the tomb. So
Hmm.
something to do with that. Percy saying, yeah, D smelled the dude in the closet. I think that it's quite possible that she did smell. And Percy says, I think Montrose was the Shoggoth.
Yeah.
I don't know if Montrose was that
Mm-hmm.
because we see Montrose later save D. So the fact that we see Montrose save D later after that, he was when D was getting attacked, he was with her, holding her, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
think he can go from two different places. I mean, if you're saying his spirit was inside of that beast and not his physical body, he transformed his body into that Shoggoth, then I don't think that happened. If you want to say some type of his spirit was in there, I could see that happening or something like that. But I just think that it worked because it was Tick's blood and he was in there, and that was the body and the blood, and you had the intentions were right because that's what
Mm-hmm.
Montrose had, good intentions or whatever intentions they were to do that. So
Yep.
that's what I think about that situation. But yeah, it's interesting, and we have to say, did that spell somehow affect Letty's baby? Now we know that it could. Now we see the book, and it's Tick's son supposedly. He says it's his son, and he wrote the Lovecraft book, but is that the baby that he's carrying with Letty? You would think it is. I mean, could it
Mm-hmm.
possibly be not? Could they have two children? Could they have three children? Of course they could, but we're gonna have to just go along the facts that they have this one child, and most likely this is the baby. And it seemed like the baby was healthy from the book. He was able to write a book. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if it does, but what do you think? You think somehow that spell could affect that child?
Um, I'm thinking it could affect the kiddo. Um, you know, uh, I wonder if Letty may need protection from the baby. I'm thinking, what if something happened during? She's exposed to a lot of magic, and I guess that's the time when baby's inside. I mean, obviously, in real life, when whatever you do, kind of affects the baby too. Well, not kind of, but it does affect the baby. Um, I wonder if they're gonna talk about whatever magic she's surrounded by, if it actually enhances the baby in any way. If that actually is the case, And that's going to be kind of a shout out to Doctor Who, because somebody who was pregnant during that time, during when things were happening, their baby was affected um, by whatever was going on around them. So that would be very interesting to see. That would be maybe I was hoping for something to be revealed, like the pregnancy at the end of the season. Well, we are on number 9 now, and then we have well, there are only 10 episodes, right? So I don't think the baby's gonna be delivered by episode 10. Maybe something for season 2. If they're actually gonna do something with a childbirth, then that's gonna be really rushing it. Why stretch it? Or why not stretch it a little bit? Why they don't have to actually have the baby at in 2 episodes? That would be kind of ridiculous if that actually happened. But yeah, I would like for there to be something about the baby, for baby to be affected, because that's going to add to the just it's going to be more interesting that way. Not just oh yeah, she's pregnant, oh there's the kid, yeah, there's a normal baby, woo. There has
Yeah,
to be something interesting about that baby.
I agree with you. Miss T. I would say I do my Mr. T voice. Miss T says Montrose might know stuff because he read the book before burning. I can't do a Mr. T, but my Mr. T voice sounds like Eddie Murphy when he imitated me. Hey boy, look my cute in them jeans. But I agree that he definitely knows some stuff because he look mighty cute in them jeans. Oh my God. Blachos definitely knows some stuff because he did burn the book.
Yeah.
And, so I agree with that. CJ says, or it could have been the smell of rotting flesh on Lancaster body. Listen, we know that could be the case. He has a black man's torso on him.
Right?
And I think that could be the case. Maybe these body parts, he has dead men's body parts on him, and they fade off a little while, and that's what would cause that stench. So I agree that could be. I didn't think about that, but it could be that. And I think that's how he's going to come. Like, I don't think Lancaster. Do you think Lancaster? I don't think he's dead. It looked like he died, but I don't.
It was too quick of a death. I mean, he's a bad man, and I know in reality, in real life, people don't get the justice in a properly gruesome death like they sometimes deserve. But this is not reality. This is I would like to see more pain, more suffering for that man, and that was too quick.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they tossed him. Everyone else who was getting killed, you seen that their heads get snapped off and everything right then. All you seen with him really was get tossed. So I think that's how they got rid of him, and he didn't have to be killed by the shotguns because he got tossed away. I think that's the reason why they did that toss. Let's go down here. Mr. T, Mr. T voice, yeah. Does Lancaster have a BBC? It seemed like no. I'm going to say no on this one because it seemed like it stopped. It was just his upper torso. It wasn't his arms. His arms weren't there. It was just really like his shoulders and his chest. It seemed like it didn't seem like it went beyond that. So I would say no. He should have probably did that. That would have been probably the first thing he should have did. But no, I'm gonna say no. Tyrone says the kid dude smells like. Listen, it's a great possibility that most likely it was the guy in the closet with the smell. But there is a possibility. I would say it's like who said that comment that it could be Lancaster himself with the body parts smelling and stuff. So that is what it is. Wolverine's Claus says, I think Christina gave Letty the mark because she knew she was pregnant. A backup in case the ritual with Tick doesn't work. I think, and I've gotten into this with a couple of people talking about someone saying that the blood doesn't matter and this and that and the other. And I'm going to tell y'all that the blood does matter. It's the number one thing that's the only reason why Tick is valuable, because he's the last living bloodline of this person. And that's why that's what makes his value there. We're going to get into Ruby in a little bit. We're going to get into that, but we're still talking about Letty. We got some time to go. So we're going to only be, we're going to give you plenty of time to set up for the show. We ain't going to be here 1 minute up until the show. You're going to have time to get
Yeah.
your snacks and everything ready
Yeah.
for your show. But to me, like this is the worst time of the day, like the hour before it starts, and you're just waiting for that hour to tick by, and it goes so slow. So hopefully this helps you
Yep.
get through that boredom. All right, so Letty, this episode, I think that without a doubt that she's doing some time traveling with him. She's got the protection
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And I think it's going to come into play. I think she might be the one in the end to she's going to like something's going to happen. She's going to have to shield somebody. Maybe Tick gets the book, and while they're trying to run away, people are shooting at him, and she covers him up because the bullets don't affect her. But I think there's got to be something for that to affect. And I think it's going to be something like that. Or, if they were getting away like we seen when Christina was in the car and another car tried to hit him, the car hit the force field and flipped over. I think you have to keep her close to you because she can't be hurt. What do you think is going to happen with Letty in this episode?
Well, she cannot get hurt, right? So, like, when she was running towards Tick, the only thing I remember seeing in her eyes is just being really frightened, and actually not just frightened, she was scared because even though she was invulnerable, she couldn't just jump in front of him. There was a distance between them. She couldn't jump in time. That's what I saw in her eyes, that she wants to jump in front of him to protect him from those bullets, and she couldn't. That was like just complete as if she's already seeing a dead man looking at him, because she's here, he's there, bullets are there. And so with her now knowing that she will not get hurt, maybe she'll be there more of, well, she never stayed behind. She was always leading, like in that tunnel. She never waited for anybody, which she shouldn't be waiting for anybody. She doesn't have this thing in her mind that she needs permission from anybody to, oh, can I go? Can we do this together? No, she was the one solving things. She was the one leading them. So now again, she can be the protector for them too. So I see her using it in some way. Knowing her strength, knowing her power, and just using it. A lot of people are aware of what they can do, but they still don't do anything with it. They don't do anything with their gifts. And in a way, this is a gift that she received, not a gift she had from birth, obviously, but it's a gift that she got. So why not use it? And she's a person who I think would know how to use things that she has.
Indeed, I agree with you with that. Moving on from Letty, I think we covered her pretty much a little bit right here. Moving on from Letty, we'll go right to her sister Ruby. Now, Ruby is in a more vicarious position, shall we say. Ruby's in trouble, I think. So dealing with Ruby, dealing with the last episode with Ruby, and she, after the Emmett Till's funeral, she feels bad, but she still winds up in the arms of a white man. And she wanted to be in the arms of the white man, and she kind of hated herself for feeling that way, knowing that it even wasn't a white man. It was really a white woman masquerading as a white man. And she felt guilty about doing that, and she acted like, so she tried to take the potion and came out of the white skin, and while she's having sex, she came out of the white skin, and she was exposed as a black woman. I think that the mess that was on her was depicted as like, that's how she's feeling inside. She's feeling messy inside. She's feeling guilty inside. She doesn't know what to do. But we see her come away from all that after she makes up kind of with Letty and tells her she knows all about magic, to say that specifically, when we see that Dee laid up there after what happens to her, that, oh, Christina is gonna help for me. Specifically like she has Christina wrapped around her finger, like she put the lock on Christina, and now that's the way she said it. I know you ladies, and I know what you ladies be thinking when he gonna do that. That's like saying, oh, don't worry about Teflon. He gonna do that for me, right? I know what y'all ladies think when y'all say, I know exactly what that means, to lose you me. So that's what she's thinking. She's thinking, I put it on this woman. I don't know how to classify it. I don't want to say anything that's offensive or anything like that. But we've seen this in this show, right? This man, because the other lady that we see, the Indian woman, right? She was a woman with a penis, right?
Yes, but she was both. I'm assuming she might have had both parts at the same time.
That's her hermaphrodite, right? So and that's basically what Christina is, right? she is like a
Oh,
hermaphrodite. I
she
mean,
switches.
she switches,
She
but I
doesn't.
mean, she's a
Mm-hmm.
woman who masquerades as a man, so you could kind of consider her a hermaphrodite. You know what I mean? People say you modesty crimes are not to offend people. It's called a transformer. Okay, we'll go with
A
transformer. I like that.
transformer.
All right.
Yeah, because that's the thing. She's not both at the same time. Like that other person. She will switch. She will transform into somebody else physically, completely.
Is
Yeah.
that the overall arc of this show right now that we've seen, that people maybe in the end will become who they want to be? I mean, we see this
Hmm.
constantly over and over again, right? That people aren't who they seem to be. We see it with Jiha, right? Jiha
Yeah.
isn't who she claims to be. We see it with
Mm-hmm.
Montrose. He's living a lie. He's not who he claims to be. You know, he's not the father, and you know, you are not the father, Montrose. I don't care what anyone says. And you know, we see Christina masquerading as someone else. We see Ruby masquerading as somebody else. Do you think that that is the overall arc, that people have to be happy with who they are to
That is
come
a
to
great,
that?
yeah, that is a great point, Tony. For people in that show, we see, um, oh goodness, Hippolyta, right? She says she's Hippolyta, wife of George's wife, and then she says, she is the discoverer, or I think whatever she called herself, explorer or discoverer. So
Mhm.
she became who she wanted to be all her life, even though she thought she wanted to be somebody else, and she wasn't. And then obviously, we have Christina, who said it herself that she wanted to be this, and that for her father, to impress her father, but she's so way beyond that. There's so much more stuff for her to do, to be. And then, well, for like you said, Montrose, yeah, he in the beginning he was himself, and then he saw what can happen when he's himself, and he wasn't able to pay that price. He wasn't able to risk it, being at that very young age. And now he, who knows, maybe he'll become who he really wants to be, and who he is inside. And like you said, everybody else becoming who they want to be. With Dee, it looks like she's already a very strong young lady. She's already has that behind her. She uh, grew up surrounded by strong people, and she already can benefit from that. She doesn't have maybe that much stuff she has to conquer to be herself. She's already herself. But with Ruby, that's the thing. Somebody here in the chat said, yeah, she's in trouble because she thinks that, yes, she's controlling Christina. No, she's not. Definitely she's not. Christina is somebody who will go through anything and anybody to get her thing. And she may have feelings for Ruby, but it doesn't change the fact that Christina herself, wants to be there for herself first.
Yeah, Christina's definitely there for Christina. And as
Mm-hmm.
she said, everything I've done has been planned. You know, I planned
Yep.
everything out from the wire, you know, and this is
Yep.
why the plan is falling into place. But I do think that there's this metaphor of people not being who they are, maybe people coming to grips.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby tried to, almost last episode, tried to like come to grips with saying that she didn't want to be white. She was happy being black. And we've
Mm-hmm.
seen from the beginning of her episode, when she were first seen her, that she was always jealous of not being white, because she felt that she could have got jobs if she was white. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I'm sure, you know, black people that probably feel that way to this day, and especially back then, when you're treated as such a second-class citizen as they were treated back then. Not that we're treated
Mm-hmm.
much more now, but we're not treated as bad. I think, I know, honestly, to me, I think we're treated the same. It's just on the low. Like, you can't get away with the way people treat you back then, because there's cameras and there's other things like that. So there's a lot of things you can't, you know, do. But I think, you know, we're not too far off, but it's better than what it was back then. But it's not great yet, you know. So
Yeah.
I would say that, you know, I understand why she would feel that way, but it seems like she has come to grips with being black. But
Mm-hmm.
when dealing with her, we see that she gets into the car. We know that they want to we know that something's wrong with Dee. We'll get into Dee in a little bit. And she gets into the, you know, they're gonna ask Christina for help, and that's why Ruby says she'll do it for me. And then we see Ruby get inside the car with her. And then we see another shot of her later. She's inside the laboratory, the basement, I presume,
Mm-hmm.
where she makes all the potions. I think that she's gonna have to give up some of her blood to Christina so Christina can become a black woman.
Hmm.
What do you think is going on?
Hmm. Why do
What
you
up to
think?
Shadow Cat Bex? I'm sorry. We got a couple other people. Let me
Hey,
do.
Rebecca.
And what up to
Mhm.
Bernie L? Beef and Bernie L is in here. And peace out to Sam R09. She did stop in for a little
Mhm.
bit. She had to, I'm sorry we were in the middle of something, but thank you for stopping in, Sam.
And she's celebrating Canadian Thanksgiving. So,
what does that mean?
oh, like they don't celebrate Thanksgiving the same time we do here in the
Well,
US.
they can't have that holiday because that didn't happen to them, right?
They I guess they're calling it
I mean,
whatever.
yeah, right?
Well,
Because
some
the holiday was specifically made because the Indians helped the colonizers get through the winter because they were going to die, and Indians helped them get through it. And then they had a big feast when they finally, got through it, and that's where Thanksgiving comes from. Even though the Indians were then pillaged, raped, and land stolen from them for their
mhm.
kindness, over there people talk about that, but that's exactly given smallpox blankets by the Spaniards and
Mm,
everything else, and children killed, buffalo way of life
yeah.
destroyed, and everything else, just because they were too nice of a people instead of kicking these people off their continent in the beginning. I just don't think that how they could celebrate that never happened.
Yeah, Percy Percy Garcia says that Canada acknowledges the holiday. Like for example, here in our house, the the kids, the moment they found out the real history, my kids refused to ever celebrate that holiday, which I'm very proud. No, well, we do a different thing because in Poland we had something that you're it's a holiday to be grateful for, just general things for your family, to celebrate family. Sometimes we need a reminder in our busy lives to just celebrate family and other people. So we're switching it to that. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving per se because for reasons, and I'm proud of my kids that they're
but
refusing.
in the holiday, it's tradition to make pilgrim costumes, right? And
Oh,
pilgrim cutouts, right? I mean, that's what I learned in school and stuff.
yeah,
They make pilgrim cutouts and everything else, and wear
yeah,
pilgrim costumes. So that is what the holidays for. All right, we
yeah,
digress.
yes.
What up to Linda R in the building,
Hey,
rocking with us
Linda.
and everything else. All right, so in the basement, Ruby and Christina. I think she's gonna get some blood off her so that she can make a
Mm-hmm.
spell, get her own blood so that she can turn herself to a black woman. Why she needs to be a black woman, we don't know yet, but I think that's what's going
Mm-hmm.
down. I think that's what she's gonna have to give up because she's not bringing her in that basement for some booty. You know, she's not. She would take her upstairs. She took her on the steps before. She took her everywhere. I don't think she's gonna take her in the basement just to have sex with her. So there's something going on there. And from what we've seen in that basement, that's where she makes sacrifices of blood and has people turn into.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? What do you think is going on with that?
Hmm. Well, when you say ruby and blood, I mean, oh my gosh, I don't think we've seen anybody who has more blood on this on the screen than Ruby. I mean, that every time she sheds her skin, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's like all I see is I'm not gonna eat steak for 2 days at least after that. But I wonder if she needs her to um, die or just get her blood. If just get her blood, but when you give some, I'm assuming when somebody uses your blood, it's magic. It's magic from your blood. If you become their, if you willingly give your blood, or if they just imprison you and take your blood to use that for any kind of magic, if you are their slave in a way, that would be a huge tragedy if it turns out that Christina will enslave um, Ruby in some way, either not her body, but her mind. Kind of like I don't want to say voodoo doll because they didn't mention. I don't think they mentioned that. Although there was that one lady who made the cross at the house. But I wonder if if Ruby will completely have to, what kind of awakening she'll have when she'll be faced with possibly being enslaved, her mind being enslaved by Christina. That will be a huge blow to her because she either had trust in Christina or she had trust actually in herself that she is, friends with Christina. That would be a huge, huge thing to realize for her.
All right, we're gonna answer Shadow Cat Beck's question in a second, but before that, I have had some discussion in the comment section with people when I put this theory out there, saying that you have to be dead in order for her to use the
Mm-hmm.
spell of
Mm.
of black. That in order for her to use the spell, I
Mm-hmm.
take your blood and turn to someone. I don't know if that's the case. That's what they said. I don't think so. Were both people that we seen dead that she used it? Yes, it seemed like, but for somehow she was still siphoning the blood off of them. Like they were
Huh.
dead, but their blood wasn't like going bad. Like she kept their blood
Mm.
preserved somehow. Do you think that people have to be dead in
Mm.
order to be to use that and turn into somebody?
See, references like that make me think of myself kind of like a geek because every time I hear something here, it reminds me of Doctor Who episode in Doctor Who where where people in a hospital who were in a coma, and somebody was using not it wasn't their blood, it was their whatever spirit or energy, but they actually had to be alive for whatever they were used for, and kind of their bodies, or somebody was using, basically a real person was laying down in a hospital in a coma, and a doppelganger was just somewhere out there using their lives whatever force. So I don't know, I want to be again surprised by this. I don't want her to die because okay, she's dead. Death is usually very final, usually, right? Hopefully George will not come back as a zombie, or hopefully they will not make him come back because that's going to negate everything that happened in the meantime. But her dying, that would be a huge thing. I mean, she's dead. She cannot grow after that, right? She's
Mhm.
gone, and we are the ones with the lesson, or people who who are the survivors. They can learn a lesson from her, but for her the growth ends, and that would be like a lot of wasted energy, wasted stuff. We are the only ones who would see how she went wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't think you have to be dead in order to use a spell. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. Ruby's not dying. All right, not in season one. I mean, if someone's gonna die at the end of the season, it's Montrose,
Mm-hmm.
and it won't be a death; it'll be a sacrifice, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no way Ruby's dying, Tick's not dying, Letty's not dying. They're not gonna kill Letty, then bring her back, and then have her die later on. It's just not gonna do it. You got to have, these are the stars of the show. So they're gonna bring them back at least for season 2. And it doesn't like they have other people to take their place, like they have other people to go on. So they have to have these people in the show. It's not like it's a huge cast like Game of Thrones where new people get introduced every year that we've seen so
Yep.
far. So these people have to make it. So then she's not going to die. But we have seen at the end of last episode, we've seen that Christina had the people treat her like Emmett Tills and kill her the same way Emmett Tills was killed. Now, Emmett Tills was killed much more brutally, but they did depict
Yep.
her in a certain way so that she could feel kind of what it was like to be him, what it kind of like to be black. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it ties in to her becoming Ruby so she could walk around and see what it's like to be a black woman in this world. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
all ties in. I think that that's the reason why she's going to do it too. All right, so Shadowcat back. Her question is: do you ever think Ruby will have a relationship with Christina, or if it will only be with William?
Hmm. um I it would be interesting to see that. I wonder if Christina, because when she said that it might not have been her, whatever did she, her body, whatever she said that was from her. Oh, she wanted to say that. I wonder if Christina's trying, not trying, but uh if she's so angry with men and how she was treated within her, like in her the society that she's part of, she's been treated so I guess badly. She wanted to be equal and she wasn't, so she maybe turned off to men. And if she would have approached Ruby like, hey, I like you, you're cute, how about, and Ruby might have been like, oh, I don't swing that way. But if she, meaning Christina, is able to make Ruby kind of fall into some feelings for William slash Christina, then if she's in love or has feelings for William, it's just a quick switcheroo into Christina. So she may be interested in women, and Ruby is a gorgeous woman. So why not kind of try to slowly approach that versus, hey, I'm into you. Right?
Mhm.
Just slowly, slow steps, especially since it's such a no in those times.
Yeah, I think it's a good chance that Christina could be gay, but I don't think Ruby's gay. And I think in the end that would keep them from being together. I don't think she's going to be willing just to be with. I don't think she's going to be willing to be with a white dude at that time. I don't think that's where she's going to end up. I don't think that was what it was all about. The show that she was
Mm-hmm.
attracted to white men this whole time. I think her storyline was to prove that she's happy being black, and I think that goes along with her dating some black guy. Maybe she'll get with Tree. You know, that's why they call him Tree.
Mm.
But we'll see. That's cookies dude right there. But we see, as Muhammad is saying here, you know, listen, people, we have 117 people in here, only 40 likes. That's not kosher. That's not kosher. Can you please
Oh
hit the
my.
like button here? I mean, it's free. It doesn't cost you a thing to hit that like button. Zero. It doesn't cost you a penny out of your pocket. All you gotta do, you're watching the screen, you see the thumb, just hit the thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we get any love like that? I'm not we out here doing this for you. Hopefully we can get some love like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I just think that is what it is. So please help us out. You know, I did see Tom from MySpace is up in here again. You know what I mean? What's to say, KB? Y'all shame Ruby for being with a white man, but Tick is with a biracial. All right, so let me address this. No one who shamed Ruby for being with a white man. Who did that?
Mm.
Did I do that?
No, I don't.
I didn't say that.
Um.
I said I don't think her arc is to be with a white man. I don't think that's her arc. I think her arc is to be happy being black, and I think that was her whole thing. You know what I mean? That goal that she had to work through. I think that was a whole arc that she wasn't happy being white, black, and she wanted to be a
Hmm.
white woman. And then she realized what it was like being a white woman. And now she realizes that she'd rather be black, even with all the heartaches and hardships that she goes through. She would still rather be a black woman. And
I wonder. I'm
so I
sorry. Go
don't
ahead.
shame her for. I ain't trying to
Mm-hmm.
shame her at all for I never said that at all. That I shame her for being with a white man. I don't care how many people, if she dated 50 white men. That ain't my shit. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care who anybody date. Number one, that's got nothing to do with me. I'm just talking about as a show and what I see for her character. That's where I take it and everything
Mm.
else. So
I wonder with
so not oh well, let
mm-hmm.
me KB. He's not just
October.
you,
Mm-hmm.
not just you. Well, it's not me at all. So don't categorize me with these other people that you're having a problem with it in Twitter. All right. So don't just say not just me. I ain't over there saying number one, my daughter is married to a woman. All right. My two kids are by a white woman. All right. My godmother's a white woman. So my best friend's married to a black woman. My other friend is married to a black woman. So you know you don't know me, son. So don't come out here saying that I'm doing something that you don't know. If you listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, you understand what's going on. But don't try to come at me like that. All right, because I don't get down like that. I ain't one of these other YouTubers that's gonna let stuff slide. You know, if you're gonna say something about me, make sure you say the truth, and that's it. And if it came across that you felt that I was saying it, then I apologize. That's not what I meant, but I don't believe I did at all. But if that's the way you taking it, then I apologize on that. All right, we'll let that go. Next, what were you saying, Elamar?
I wonder if she because she was very much picky with she has she's proud to be herself, and even being in the body of a white woman, it's she's not just gonna have William kiss her, uh,
Mm-hmm.
which is I think a great thing. Like normally those other women were like, oh my gosh, he's so whatever, they were like so swept away by this handsome guy by the car, and she knows her worth, although that was a little bit harsh the way she approached that. But we already talked about it, that she wanted to be kissed as herself, not kissed as a white woman. I wonder if they will all, for example, when Christina becomes whoever she wants to be, a white woman or a white man, if she at some point will be fine and cool with actually being seen with Ruby in her true form. um she wasn't too protective of Ruby by the gate. She, yeah, I expected more from William at that point. But I wonder how they are all gonna um, turn out to be towards either maybe not the end of the season, but maybe because growth can happen later on, not just now. Not all growth happens in season one, and then what are we gonna do for season?
Yeah. So I think that dealing with Ruby in the end, I think Ruby is in big trouble. I think that I don't know if it's her the way that when she's saying that she turned herself to this white woman for that reason. I don't know if she's lying to herself because you've seen Christina Checker like, oh, when she said
Mm-hmm.
when she was saying, oh, you should feel bad, you don't feel bad and everything else, and she's like, listen, you should feel bad. You the one who came over here. You feel bad because you wanted to come
Mm-hmm.
here. You wanted to be with me. So is it really those reasons that she's taking this potion? Is somehow the potion taking a hold of her? Is somehow like she enjoying this potion? Like she enjoyed taking it so much? I wouldn't I would say like cigarettes or some type of addiction to it or something like that. But it could be like she's drawn to it or something like something that she
Mm-hmm.
needs to have in her body. Like she needs to do that. You know what I mean? So I think it could be a situation like that going down with her. I am not sure how it is and everything else. But we will see what goes on with Ruby and everybody else. As we have any other questions right here, let me
Mm-hmm.
take a look see what other people saying in the chat real quick. I think Ruby liked having a like having a white person won her. I think so too. I think that she felt that it was, because especially back then and still to this day, right? Still to this day, when you look at white men, they are perceived to be the catch of catches, right? That's what they're perceived to be. Like if you see a black woman with a white man, or you see an Asian woman with a white, well, really, if you see an Asian woman with a white man, or you see a Spanish woman with a white man, or anyone like that, you never really see a double glance at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like usually if you're dating interracially, like usually it's the white family that judges you, right? So if you're a black person, you're dating, or well, I've dated many white women, and if you date white women, you go and I've dated many black women too. Don't let's get that right. But I'm saying if you do and you go inside of a white family, usually as a black person, you feel like you have to live up to their expectations. And usually when a white person comes to the black family, it's not the same. It's not like that person is trying to live up to their expectations. It's not the same pressure, I think, on it at all. You know what I mean? I think that you white guys automatically usually accepted in the black family by the parents and everyone else, but the black guy has to get accepted. He has to do something, and I think that's really because I think that the white person, as always, because it's the way it's been in this world, is looked at more as the prize of
Mm-hmm.
everything, and stuff like that. So, and why wouldn't they when they have they have especially back then they have the money, they have the education, they have all the benefits of being white, all the privileges of coming with that. So it's like more of like a step up, you know what I mean? That's the way I would see it and everything else. All right. Kiki, you can come on here. Let's see. Right, Elliot said, "Nah, my friend is pressed to get her collard greens and mac and cheese right for the next family gathering." Listen, no, not everything is exactly the way it is every time. You know what I mean? It's always different for every situation, but the majority of time, from what I've experienced, that's the way it is, and that's what it is. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to sit here and just talk about interracial dating. All right, if y'all want to just talk about interracial dating, I'll do a whole stream about interracial dating. We can go through the whole situation and everything else. All right, I am the expert on it. So, I but when you grow up in Queens, New York, you date everybody. That's just the way it is, man. You around everybody, so you have the opportunity to date Spanish women, Asian women, white women, Jewish women, Greek women, whatever, whatever you want, persuasion, Jamaican, Haitian, everything. It's all available to you in the city, not like other places in the world and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's the way I see it. All right, so getting away from that topic.
I see those topics and food, and oh my gosh.
Yeah, all this food
Ugh.
is coming up and everything
I've
else.
never had raisins in my potato salad ever. I'm not a fan of raisins, but
What?
anyway, no.
Who does that?
I don't know. John Haymaker said I can bring potato salad with raisins
Who puts
to
raisins
Ellie.
in potato salad?
I don't know. That just sounds really strange to me. Oh my gosh, I don't like that. Just the thought of it just makes me not so happy.
Yeah, yeah, no raisin in potato salad, and just Queens is the ultimate melting pot. There's no, I can't mess with no raisins in potato salad.
Shadow
I've never
Cat says,
heard
"Oh
of it,
no,
and I wish I never did. All right, there's no need for raisins in the potato
no,
salad.
no."
Who
Raisins
would
look
do that?
like little bugs. Can you imagine the little bugs in there? Oh no, I gotta
Why would
stop.
you do that? That's not supposed to
Mm.
happen.
Ellie says only the devil. Exactly.
All right, we're going
No more food talk.
back.
Mm,
Well, we're going back to the show
yes,
right now, right?
please.
All right, we're going back to the show. All right, so dealing with the show and everybody else, and if anyone has any questions, please ask the questions. We have one here from Danielle Lopez, right here, and it says, "Did Christina remove her mark of Cain to go experience the way Emmett was killed?" No, she did not remove the mark of Cain. All right, so
Mhm.
Christina's spell, it seems a little different. I mean, because in the beginning, when we seen her, right, she had the force field around her. Nothing could hurt her. And we
Mhm.
seen her, when Tick pulled the gun on her, everything else in
Mhm.
the car, tried to hit a car. But this time, she was able to get hit. She was able to get, choked,
Exactly.
shot, and everything else. But she didn't die. She came back
Mhm.
alive. So, do you think that I don't think she removed it. But but it's definitely hard
Mm.
to explain. What do you think about that?
Um. Well, invulnerable. It means nothing can hurt you, right? So kind of it's not. What was her spell? Oh my, the one that she wanted. The exact wording for it. She wanted to live forever, which is um.
Immortality.
There we go. Immortality. So I wonder, like at that point where she did get hurt, obviously blood and all that and pain, but she didn't die. And the only way for me that it would make sense is that she has that spell on her already, and she shouldn't because she didn't do whatever she needed to do. That's gonna happen later. So I wonder if they just kind of messed up here, or if there is something else they're going to explain to us. Because to us us here, the two of us and the chat and people watching it, they see that there's something wrong with that. She did get hurt. Can she remove it from time to time? And it just makes her kind of, revive, like she dies and then she comes back to life. I'm confused by it. And if they just did it so that they can make a of, for her to go through that process of dying, how it feels to die, well, then I guess they did an okay job, but still, it's illogical to me, and I just don't like when there's no logic.
Yeah, it was. Kiara says, I think she actually gave consent to be killed by the men. She did
Mm,
give consent, so maybe that has a role to it. Maybe that that since she gave consent, that happening. We
mm-hmm.
also do know that the spell is what brought. That's the same spell. I think this is the same spell that brought Letty back to life, right? So it's a healing spell, also.
Yeah.
And it seemed like she gave her a
Hmm.
boost on it. So it's hard. It's not all.
Yeah.
It's not all spelled out. But I could go with she gave consent, and that's why they were able to hurt her. So I think that's what it is. Vanessa says, what does Vanessa say? It just keeps moving. This chat's fast today. I think she dies if she removes the spell. Her father removed
Right.
it and he died. Yeah, so I think you're correct on that. If she, I think it's two spells, right? I don't think she can have them both. So if she gets the immortal spell, I don't think she can keep the protection spell, because that's why the father removed it, so he could try to get the immortality spell, and that's how he died. So I
Hmm.
think that she's only going to be able to have one of them. and everything else. So I think that's true, but I don't think the spell was removed from her or anything else like that. Alex Ben said they turned to stone. Yeah, they definitely turned to stone. So that was kind of like what is that? What is that place that Sodom and Gomorrah? Is that what people turn to stone in the Bible when
Not
God
sure.
when God struck them down and everyone had to run away? And if you look back, you turn to a pillar. That was salt. They got turned to a pillar of salt instead in Sodom and Gomorrah. So it was something like that. You know what I mean? It's something similar to that, or it could be stone because they're ancient and they became stone. So and that really all not Christina and them could be very old. When we looked at the tombstone, it didn't really say the age of them, so it didn't. You couldn't really tell exactly what was going on there and everything else. So I don't know how much of a role Christina's going to play. I mean, she's going to play a huge role in this episode, but I don't know how long we'll see her, because I think a lot of it's going to happen back in the day and everything else when they go back. Yes, it was Lot's wife who was turned into salt because she looked back, and Maureen Medusa is the one who turned people into stone when she looked at.
I thought that there was something, but that probably was for Hobbit, where those oh gosh, what were they? Those giant? No, they were not giants. Whatever they were, ogres. They were turned to stone when the sun was shining on them. There are many legends, I guess.
Yeah,
like the sun will turn
only
them
thing
to
I know
stone.
about Lord of the Rings is the movies. I'm not really big into Lord of the Rings. No,
I didn't read the books. It's just too much for me, and I'm allergic to dust, so I can't book gather dust. Movies don't, at least. That was what I saw in Hobbit. And there was another legend in Poland, and I think it's not just in Poland, but the basilisk, I think, wasn't that the thing that turned people. Anyway, we're like going into different stories, different fantasy, but yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, exactly, Michelle. Yeah.
Next, we're going to talk about D. All right, and everything that happened to D and what we think is going to happen to D. I feel D's episode. Listen, last episode to me was, if not the best episode of the season, it was the second best episode of the season. Right? The only thing that could have been better than that was episode number 1. And it was mostly because of D. I mean, she was the star of the episode. And the actress just did a phenomenal job of portraying all the emotions that she had to portray in that episode, and just the physicality that she had to do in the episodes. Everything about her performance, I thought, was just great. Kiki, watch your mouth with that blasphemy. Don't be saying that stuff up in here. Don't be saying nothing like that about D. We don't want to hear them words at all.
She cannot die.
No, we don't want to hear them words. All right. How did you like the performance of D?
She was amazing. And obviously she's the youngest actress there, or actor. I don't know how to mention that, or actor or actress. She's the youngest one there. And she's doing great. I mean, I wonder, I don't remember seeing her in anything, and I actually didn't Google if she starred anywhere besides this, but if this is one of her first roles, she is, hopefully somebody will pick her up, somebody will get her for other movies, because she was wonderful. And when I saw, she was afraid, she was brave, she was angry, she was kind, she was everything in that one episode. Obviously before that too, but this was her episode. And how she, I mean, she's a little girl, right? And she took a bat and she was swinging, and those. I literally had. I'm not kidding. I had nightmares after that. the blood, the eyes, and the breaking of the fourth wall. Like, no, that's a big no-no. So, and then she was there. We don't know how people. Obviously, this is fantasy, but we are sometimes faced with real monsters. Maybe not like that, but different monsters. We don't know how somebody will face that. And she was facing it. First, she was afraid of it. After she realized it's her. It's all up to her. Nobody sees them. Nobody believes her. Somebody actually sent those things after her. So it's all on her shoulders. And she faced it. She didn't run. She ran to the place where she could face them. She didn't just run aimlessly. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah, and listen, it was the pipe. She
Oh,
she
pipe.
held the she held the
That's right.
pipe like that, and she had the hat of the
Mm-hmm.
Negro League baseball team. So we know
Yeah.
that she's a fan of baseball, and she was holding the pipe like it was a bat, and she was
Mm-hmm.
whooping them with that pipe. Like she because it got to the point where Dee was, in the beginning she was running, she was scared, she was running,
Mm-hmm.
and then it got to the point she was like, you know what, f all this running, I'm done running. It's time to put up right now. And she went there to she's like, I know they're gonna come follow me up in here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna lock all these doors. I'm gonna lock these windows. They only gonna be able to come through this one
Mm-hmm.
door. And when they do, I'm gonna whoop that ass on them. I'm coming to beat that ass. And that's exactly what she did. And she was definitely putting the Beats by Dre on them without a shadow of a doubt. She was definitely beating them down and everything else. And she did a great job until
Yeah.
Montrose, seen her,
Mm.
I don't know Montrose.
What's up with him? What is it with
Wrong
him?
with him? I guess he, it's hard to get mad. I guess he had, the best, her best.
Really? Maybe I'm thinking maybe he saw them. Right now, I don't know what about this man. I just don't know it.
It's hard to say. You would think that he has, her interest in his heart, and he just seen her swinging wildly at nothing, and maybe he thought she was just having a fit. Number one, I wouldn't have got close to her swinging that
Right?
like that. That he is
Yeah.
for that reason. I would have waited for her to tie herself out. Then I would have been like, "All right, you good? Come over.
Right. Right.
I'm coming over there right now. I'll be there in a second. Then I'll be there." I would have definitely. I wouldn't have laughed at that. But he grabs her up, and listen. Is it his fault that happened? I think that happened. I think you have to blame him for it. You know what I mean? I think
I'm
you have
blaming
to
him for it.
blame it.
He should know enough about magic.
Musical. Is it all right? So is it music all alone, or is it
Music alone.
is it music
Musical
alone
one.
74, or is it musical 174?
Right.
It could be either.
Nice. Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
It could be either way. So I said them both because I don't know which way it is. I don't know why they even made Montrose a major character in the show. In the book, he's not. The vast majority of this show is all right. So I didn't even read your comment. If I did, I would.
I'm not reading.
I wouldn't have did that. All right. So there's no spoilers here about the book.
Just a reminder. I think we forgot to mention in the beginning.
No book spoilers. We don't know, and no one here. We really haven't read the book. We are just trying to keep it. If anyone says any comments about something in the book, I'm gonna have to. I don't want to have to. I'm gonna have to time you out. All right, and that's what's gonna have to be. So I'm just gonna let you know that right now. That I'm gonna time you out. I don't want to do it, and it's nothing I'm trying to do. But if you say anything about the book or anything like that, we're gonna time because you're gonna ruin the. She said she's sorry. It's all good.
No, yeah, we didn't say it.
Before you don't know. I'm just letting you know now. You know what I mean? That's all. We just trying to guess. We didn't do the book.
Yeah, I'm enjoying after it probably, but I don't want to know now. I want to just kind of go into it without knowing anything about the books. I don't want to be spoiled at all.
All right, and dealing with we also gonna talk about Montrose in general here too. Listen, the man said, he said I would die for my family. I don't think that's a throwaway line. I don't think that was just said just to be said. I think that's exactly what's gonna. I think he has to. I think the only way he could be redeemed for what he has done in his eyes is if he dies for his family. What do you think?
But now a question is, who is his family? Because technically Christina is his family, right? It's very, very tricky. And words, like, you got to be careful. I mean, you as in, people, be careful because words are, whose family is it? I mean, they're all family. Who is he going to die for? I mean, he said his son, but what if, and speaking of that, somebody here just kind of reminded me of Christina. Why won't she have a baby? Maybe, if she's so set on her goal, why won't she just have her own baby? And bad things, people have done horrible things. Why won't she go into that if she's so desperate for blood and she doesn't want to use her own?
Mm-hmm. I'm looking out over here at
Mhm.
people. I said I said in another video that I think there's a good chance that Montrose takes the blood and becomes Tick, and that's who gets
Mm.
sacrificed, and he dies as Tick. But we do have to think about that. If it's Tick's mother, and the bloodline is connected to the mother, and
Yeah.
it takes the blood for that to happen, then you would think it wouldn't work the spell without with Montrose doing that. You would need, and we don't know Tick's mom having any other kids besides him, right?
True.
So it would have to be Tick. There has to be a catch there somehow, though. But then you would think it would have to be Tick in the end to be the one to do that. You know what I mean? And Tamara Anthony, I think did he do the spell right? I know he has dyslexia. Maybe he got something right because it saved him.
Something happened. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if I think he got something wrong too, and it just happened to work out. Because I don't think the spell they were casting was to make a Shoggoth. I think it was just a protection spell. But he got a different form of protection.
At least they didn't make it a comedy where, something happens and then some things start happening. Like, what is going on? Like, what is that supposed to be? At least it wasn't a comedy thing where they were counting on something and something just outrageously like, oh, okay, that's called dyslexia. You have to be careful how you pronounce stuff. But I still wonder if he was tied to it by saying those words, if he messed them up, if, like we said, if his if he became not, his body became a slave again to that monster, but if he kind of transferred his body or his soul into that animal, and maybe the way he was looking at Tick and kind of he had to protect Letty. No, Tick had to protect Letty. I wonder that whole situation because it was directed at Tick to protect him, whereas Tick had to take, Letty, like, oh, don't hurt her. Yeah, I wonder how he ties into that.
Yeah, it's something's going on here. Now it's dealing with the blood. So the slave woman that we see holding the book all the time, that's related to Tick's mother, right? That's his mother's side. So that's where the bloodline's coming from. So the bloodline's coming from that lady. That's why they keep showing her in the fire. When we seen Tick get burnt up in the fire, his whole body gets burned up. When we see Letty in the fire starts on the baby first in her stomach. So it has something to do with Tick's blood and his mother's line. That's why they have to go back there to get the book from his mom's side of the family. As people said that it was people say Hannah is a lady. Yes, the lady's name is Hannah. You're correct in that. Her lady's name is Hannah. So let's call her by her name. So Hannah and the book. So they're going back for the book. And I think that's the whole thing. When we're dealing with Dee and everything else, I think that's the deal that Christina's going to strike. She's going to say, listen, if you want us to save Dee, you want me to save Dee's life, I need you to go back in the time and get those pages and deliver those pages for me. I think that's what the plot of this episode is going to be when it's all said and done. I think that's what it's going down. I think she's going to say, if you want this girl saved, I need you to go back and get this book. And I think that's why they go back there to retrieve the book for Christina. Because I don't think that it was like they're not going to tell her about the book. Tick's not going to tell her about the book he has. He's not going to say that. And she still needs those papers for her spell to get casted. So I think that's how it's going to go down. And I think that, do you think that she's going to lose her arm? Arm looks very gruesome. Oh, no, it looks dead. The arm.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned it in the show. I think the one that you had, one of the shows during the week, when you were talking about this, somebody mentioned it. And wasn't it mentioned that something happened when Tick went back or went forward in time, and her hand being kind of different or something wrong with her hand? I wonder, is that the hand that she was bitten? that was her left hand, I think, that was being either scratched or bitten by one of those girls. Um, and the question also remains, how permanent are the scars on it? Because the ghosts are not visible, scars are visible, scars, physical scars that they leave behind. And can something like that actually heal, or will it just get worse as time progresses? And what if they're able to, um, I guess, cast the demons away from her, but what if they're cast into, they have to be put somewhere, and what if they're put into, I know it's a huge stretch, but they have to have, like, they have to be somewhere physically, maybe they just don't go poof. And if, what if it's concentrated into her arm? That'll be an awful reminder, an awful way to live your life, thinking about the horror that you lived through. Obviously you're happy that you're alive, but you have this arm, this messed up arm, as a reminder of what happened to you.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that. I don't know if it's musical one. We're going to get into that in a second. But yeah, it looked like it's definitely an exorcism. Like, we've seen them do a lot of different genres and everything else. This is going to be like taken from The Exorcist. You know, if anyone has seen The Exorcist, I think everyone in the world has seen The Exorcist, right? You've seen The Exorcist, right?
Yes, when I was about 6 or 7.
You had to, right? That's just a movie that, you know. I mean, that was like the star of that movie. Two things was, number one, the girl threw up in the guy's face, like like projectile throw up, and she spun her head all the way around. It went all the way around the back and then popped up. Those were that was the two big special effects of the day back then when it came out. That's what creeped everybody out. You know what I mean? And all that. And she, Demi, please save me. And the priest started beating her up, punching her in the face, and she started laughing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I laugh about things that aren't supposed to be funny, but I find humor in them anyway. He started punching the demon in the face. He got so he couldn't take it anymore. Because she was doing the voice of his mother. Demi, please,
right?
Demi. He was like, "Oh, shut up!" He started punching the demon.
I need to rewatch it. It's been a long time. Maybe I should do it now.
Yeah.
But oh my
Debbie,
God.
why are you doing this to me, Debbie? Yeah, all right. So that's what it's going to be. All right. Now, we have seen Tick say that when he went into the future, he didn't stay long, but there was a woman there with a mechanical arm who gave him the book and pushed him out. Is that woman D?
I mean, okay. So potential. How old is she? Do we know? Like, she's under 15, right? Probably D currently between 9 and 15. I don't know. I'm very bad with ages. So if Tick's son writes the book, he has to be at least, I mean, in that picture, because I think there was a picture, wasn't there a picture?
There was a picture, yes.
Yeah, so he didn't look like a very young man, but again, the book was kind of messed up. Like, it's either been through a lot or it's been there for a while. The arm, the way it was there, the way it was described, what would be the point of it if it wouldn't be important? And so it's a very, I would say it's a great chance that it is actually D. I wonder, because I don't think there was an age, like I don't remember if age was mentioned of that woman, but I don't see why even mention something with an arm if it wasn't relevant. So I would say it's possible to be D, because we don't know, at least I don't remember the age. That woman would have to be quite older, though. Yeah.
You know, so yeah, and it doesn't say specifically what time he was at. Like, did he go in a time would D still be alive? Was he way in the future? You know, and it was the Afro lady that we seen with oh my God, with Hippolyta. Was it her that gave it to him? Was he that far into the future? Was he in the future this where D would still be alive and the book was just written? We don't know. I would say that we will know if D gets her arm chopped off. If D's arm is chopped off this episode or next episode or whenever, then we know that was D, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Because all he said was that there was white people rioting, right? That's what
Mm.
he said. That he said there was white people rioting. Someone grabbed him with a mechanical arm, gave him the book,
Mhm.
and pushed him back into the chamber. All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, amputated. Yes. All right.
Chopped off.
You want to be technical about it? Amputate. All right. Though I don't know if I don't know. Is it amputated? Is just means that you meant to cut it off, right?
Yeah.
And
Chopped
then
off. It's like, oh my gosh, there's something on his arm. Let's remove it. No, you chop it off.
yeah, well,
Versus,
because you don't know about it, because
Mhm.
it's getting cut off. The bottom line is just getting cut. What do you want to say? Amputated or cut off? It's getting cut off, and D ain't consenting to it. So it depends how you look at it. I guess I'm saying
Yeah.
cut off. Because
Yeah, there are
arm
many different words for that.
It looks disgusting. If you look at the thumbnail that I put up for, I don't know if it's
Oh,
the one before this, you could see I
mhm.
got a good shot of the arm, and I put it up there, and you
Yeah.
can see it. The it's disgusting. Yeah.
It looks like one of those from the Mummy, Return of the Mummy, or one of them where the mummies were turning into just kind of the skin was just becoming gray and yeah, it looked like beef jerky, gray. Ugh, awful.
No, it was it. It looked like beef jerky is right, like a Slim Jim, like a dark Slim Jim.
Yeah,
I
but
think that's
gray.
a good depiction of it. It looked like a damn Slim Jim. I hate
Yeah.
Slim Jims, and looked like a goddamn Slim Jim. With the wrinkles in it and everything else. It looked terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what we're dealing with. D. I think that's what we're gonna get here and everything else. Tamara Anthony, I hope so. Pretty girl. I don't know who she's talking about here. Maybe you. Christy of Old Stone Slim Jim. Yes, it did look like a guy.
We talk a lot about food. I think I'm going to be munching on some serious stuff for the movie. Hopefully, it will not be too gory for me to be able to actually eat whatever I'm going to eat.
Oh yeah, slap it to a Slim Jim. All right, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Kiki said, "What kind? Teriyaki original?"
Kiki is like the new Bernie.
All right.
Kiki is the Black Bernie. they could be soulmates. They need to hang out with each other. Probably like each other. Hook y'all two up, let y'all hang out with each other. You probably have a great time hanging out with each other because y'all on the same shit. Without a shadow of a doubt. All right, I think that we have discussed just about everything we think is going to happen.
Mhm.
In this episode, I think we went through it and everything else. I just say nice hat, sir. I think that is a shout out to me. I don't think anyone else can be seen. So thank you very much. I actually appreciate it. Tamara, Anthony. Hopefully everyone subscribes to this channel. We will be back, at the end, as always, when the show is over. We'll be back tonight for the after show. I think it's going to start. We start at like 10:15,
Yep.
10:20.
Eastern
As soon as it's
time.
over. We start off and we go through it and everything else. So she says yes, you will. Thank you very much. I truly appreciate that. And make sure hopefully everyone subscribe. Hope you all hit the thumbs up. See, on my screen I only see 6 thumbs up. So and 140 people watch.
Sometimes it doesn't refresh. Let's see what do we have. Yeah. Okay, I'll go back. I wonder this StreamYards, sometimes it takes a while to catch up to that. But at least today we do have the chat in the comments here in StreamYard, so that's very good.
Which is great. I need to have the chat here because I like to see it. Ellie says when she climaxed, her skin fell off my her skin fell off. Mine should have left my body. When she did climax and the skin was coming off her body, it was disgusting.
Oh.
But I think it was done on purpose to try to realize that that's who she is, regardless of whatever skin she has on the outside. It's her that's doing this. You know what I mean? Like she tried to say later, like, "Oh, I was doing this because I didn't want to do you as a black woman. I had to be a white woman to do this." But it doesn't matter what you project on the outside, what other mask you put up. It's you, in the end, who's doing it. And I think that's why they did this. Kiki says, thumbs up, legs up. Well, Thumbs up, legs up if you're a woman, not if you're a man. I mean, I don't want to see no men up in here with their legs up. Don't come around. I'm saying this is for me. All right, I'm just saying. Don't hate on me. Don't hate on me. I'm just saying. All right, for me, the Don Tony Teflon, no men's their legs up. All right, don't be putting no men. Women, you can do what you got. Anything a woman can do is okay with me. But no goddamn it, men, keep your goddamn legs on the goddamn floor. Please.
I'm not gonna comment. I'm just gonna say, people, you do you, and I'll just enjoy reading it. So
listen. Now you're talking about Amazon style and that's after dark.
After dark, that's during the week or no? When do you do that again? On weekends?
I do that like Friday nights.
Okay.
Sometime for a Friday night.
Okay.
Yeah, Kiki is.
Kiki, Friday after dark is gonna be here at some point.
Yeah,
not soon enough.
All about that stuff during the after dark stream.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind talking about it now, but you see, I'm dressed. I'm serious. I'm serious.
We have a fancy drink over here. Serious fancy drink.
We're talking about putting honey on mommy's booty. All right, we're not talking about that this stream. That's for after dark talk. We talk about all that. We talk about that. If y'all don't know, I have a stream. It's called After Dark. It usually starts at like 11 o'clock. It's usually on Saturday nights, and when I do that stream, we talk about stuff.
Anything
like
goes, probably.
Yeah, we talk about all.
And those are deleted.
Yes, we talk about all sexual things, and then after I'm done, I delete the stream as soon as I'm done. So you can be as freaky as you want, because no one's gonna see it after. You can say whatever you want to say, and that's what it is, you know. So that's all right. Getting back to we're going to stay on for 10 more minutes, and then we're out because everybody's got to go get ready for this show. So right now, the last 10 minutes, as always, we're going to take questions and stuff like that. You know, we're going to take questions and talk about things like that. So if y'all have any questions, you could put them in there right now. Ray New L what Campion? How do you say it? Capion. I don't know. El Capion. You know,
I'm not sure.
L always, when you put the L, I mean, L means the, right? The Capion. L means the. L is always, I always wish I had like an L in my name. Like, I always like L. It's like the, you know what I mean? I should be like L Don, like El Don Teflon. You know, I would like to. I should have something like that. That's the way it should be. All right, he says, I wonder
if at any point if you want.
Huh?
I said you can change your name to anything you want. You just change it right back. See how it feels.
I could be El Don Tony Teflon. Maybe I would.
There you go.
If I had a Spanish crowd, I would definitely do that. I wonder if her potions wore off during sex because she chose to get out of herself because William's potion did not work. All right, that's a good thing. Did she? You know, because usually them potions, you would think, do you ever drop your steam yard so others can join the panel? I do drop the steam yard so others can join the panel. I do that, and especially we already talked about doing that. I'm definitely going to do that for after this season's over. Like as soon as it's over, we're going to do like a whole season review, and we're going to bring on the people in the chat. So if you want to be invited from the chat, let me know. Just hit me on Teflon TV on Facebook, and that's how we can. I want to hear from all y'all too. So when the season's over, we're going to definitely be doing that. We're going to bring everybody on, and we're going to be doing different things like that. But if that's what it is. So you could definitely get on and everything else. And I love to have everybody on here, at least one. We could have a big thing. Now I think I'll have like 8 to 10 people on here at one time.
Exactly.
So I'll have 8 to 10 people on here at one time. As long as everyone, behaves, I don't mind doing that. You know what I mean? Yep. But we'll definitely do that as soon as the season's over. I guarantee we're going to get that done. What was the question? I forgot what the question was. Oh, all right. I do. I think we talked about the cop already. We do think the cop is alive. We answered this question earlier today, but we do think that you agree with that, Lamar? The cop is definitely still alive.
Yes, dead, and that would be a big injustice. I want to see more terror, more blood, and more pain for him. Okay. Now, usually when she has this potion, we've seen her suck down, Ruby, the whole potion. It wasn't like she took a shot of it, a swivel of it.
She took the whole potion down. And usually when she takes the whole potion down, it seemed like she could last a couple of hours. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to think they were having a couple of hours worth of sex. So do you think it was the orgasm that kicked her out of it, or it was just the shaking when she shook too much that the skin just fell off her? Or do you think it just wore off? What do you think happened there?
Yeah, I don't think that the shaking would make that fall off of her. I mean, if it did, I mean, good for her. Anyone would like that. Um, but I think it's maybe she's more in control, like William or Christina, whoever said it to her, that the first time she takes the potion, it's more, it's more. I know she didn't say violent, but there's more something, and then it gets easier later on. So maybe as this is happening again and again, she has more control, so she can actually have her body release that potion, just be done with it when she's done. The same thing happened when she assaulted, again rightfully so, that her manager with that high heel. Did she time it just right? Maybe that's why she was hitting him so many times with it until she actually changed back. Probably not, but either it was just the timing that she knew and she could control it, or they kind of made it convenient for us because it's the show.
No, I think it was convenient because of the show. That's why they wanted to show that. I don't think they were thinking it that far through with how long
Yeah.
the thing worked. I think that's what they were doing. Also, just talking about the After Dark stream. If you do join us in the After Dark stream and you are a subscriber, look, everything happens if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, you don't get the love. But if you are a subscriber, I do be giving away thug mugs on that After Dark stream. That's when I give people a chance to win one of these beautiful thug mugs. I will send it right to you directly. So if you do join us on the After Dark stream, somebody will have a chance to win a thug mug. Just like if you're a subscriber and you leave a comment on my prediction videos when I put that out, you have a chance to win a $25 Netflix gift card. If the video hits 400 likes, we do have a winner in that, and we will announce that winner in the after show who won that. You know what I mean? So that is what it is and everything else. So that's where it goes. If you ever wanted to win a thug mug or something like that, this is what you got to do. You got to be subscribed, and you got to join us live on these things. And that's how it gets down. Not for the $25 Netflix gift card. You just got to like it and leave a comment on that video. And I'll probably drop that video on Monday, tomorrow night. I'm going to try to get it out there.
And there's a comment here or not a comment, but a question from KB. I'm not sure. I'm trying to find it here in StreamYards. Basically, KB was asking about who was cleaning all that blood.
We thought about that. Like, what happened to the loose skin and everything else, right? Well, where does that skin go? Well, we see the first time when she did it, she put plastic down, right? In the living room.
Yes, but then the elevator, and she does it. Like, what happened? It's just a lot of blood. Again, it doesn't make sense to me, and that's one of the aggravations. That's sometimes why I give the episode less points, because it just takes me out from it. It doesn't make any sense for me sometimes.
It's like with these dead body of these cops. What are they gonna do with that? All these dead bodies of cops in front of the house. And where were the damn neighbors that were honking the horn the whole time, looking through the cracks of the windows when all that was going on? So certain things like that, I could see. I could see you saying that, you know what I mean? I could see you saying, this, that, and the other. But I don't let that bother me because I love the show so much, so I give it a pass. You're willing to give stuff a pass when you like it that much. Ellie, all day. You're subscribed and a thug. I need a mug. Join us on After Dark chat, and you'll have the chance to win one. And it's not like, listen. I get some subscribers. I get people that join us there, but it's not that many. So it's not like you have a lot. And when I do that, I don't pick. I let the people in the chat pick. It's got nothing to do with me. It's like at the end of the night, I'll say who it deserves the thug mug, and whoever the chat votes for that gets the most votes wins it. And that's the way it is. And then I'll send it to you. So it's got nothing to do with me. It's all about you and your friends in the chat and everything else. Kiki, she won one. She's a winner of one. Fernandez T, he got one. So we gave away 2 that last time we did it. So that's where it goes. All right. you have any other questions, because it's just about getting back time to
Mhm.
wrap it up. It's like a half an hour to go before, and I don't want to keep people too late and not be able to get their snacks, their
Mhm.
ready. Get your snacks ready. Get your, you know what I mean. Get your popcorn. I like popcorners. Get all that stuff
Ooh.
going and everything else like
I'm
that.
already trying to see what I have in my like in my mind. What is it that I have in my house I can munch on? It's gonna be raiding my fridge, my cabinets. Yeah.
I am really listen. Plenty of marshmallow fluff and plenty to go around after dark. Yes, there sure is. There sure is. A lot of everything else like that. All right, we're gonna have to get up out of here so that y'all can get ready. Thank you all for joining us in the pregame show. We will see you next week on the pregame show, but we'll see you in a little bit, in an hour
Mhm.
and a half, not even.
Yep.
We will see you back here. Come right back here. Hour and a half. It should be there. If you're a subscriber and you've hit the bell, you'll be notified and you get all notifications. But if you look at Teflon TV, it should show you up there that there is up there that video is up there ready to go and everything else. And we're going to give you our live reaction of
Mhm.
what this episode is. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great episode. So I cannot wait for it. So as always, if you like the way I do this, please excuse me. If you like the way we do this, please thumbs up this, please spread this across the realm, and please subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace.
And stay sexy.